there, it's Carol with Carolbcrafts. Today we'll be making project number 3 in my Springtime Joy online class. This is an adorable Easter card. Anyone would love to get this card. So let's get started. So from your card base bag, you're going to need an 8.5 by 5.5, and for your DSP, you're going to want to get, there's actually two that are similar. This one, if you look at the way the leaves are going, this is a horizontal, and the leaves are going up this way, the stems. This is what I call the smaller hydrangea print. This is what I call the larger hydrangea print. Okay, so that's what you're going to want to get from those two. And then we'll set these aside here for now. You're going to need some basic white. And I've got a couple of pieces here, so I might use the smaller pieces first. You're going to need some Highland Heather. And you're going to need some gray granite. You have a 1/4 sheet of gray granite. And then you're going to need your DSP. Okay, I think that's it. So bring in our trimmer. We're going to score our cardstock, and I'm going to score it at 4 1/4. So get that at 4 1/4. I'm going to use our scoring blade and fold away and burnish with our bone folder. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're enjoying this class. I'm enjoying it. I enjoyed making all of the projects. Basic white. We need 2" by 3 7 for stamping, or 3 7/8. 2" by 3 7/8. I think that's the front. 3 7/8. Yeah, that's our front right there. And then it looks like for the inside, we're going to need 3 3/4 by 5. So I'll take this again. I know that this is 5.5, so 3 3/4 by 5 for the inside. And I think that's it for basic white. And Highland Heather, we're going to need 2 1/8 by 4 and 4 by 5 1/4. So let's do 2 1/8. 2 1/8 by 4. I think this goes behind the sentiment. 2 1/8 by 4, and then 4 by 5 1/4, 4 by 5 1/4, and gray granite. This is 4 1/4 by 5.5. We need 4 by 5 1/4. So 4. Do we need that big? No, 2 1/8 by 4. I'm reading the wrong one. 2 1/8 by 4. Okay, awesome. I think that's it. We need to cut our DSP, and it is landscape. So we need 4 by 5 1/4. And we're actually going to use all of this. So 5 1/4, we know it's 4, 5 1/4, and then this is where we get that awesome little green piece right there. We just flip that over and use the reverse side, and this is 4 by 3 quarters. 4 by 3 quarters. Okay. I think that's it for our cutting. So we'll do some stamping now. I'm going to put everything away except our white, because that's what we're going to be stamping on. Put this aside for now. And I'm going to be stamping, doing quite a bit of stamping and coloring here. So first of all, we're going to do our bunny. So I've got to put my lamb back from my last card and grab my bunny. So we have our bunny. Our Easter is well, a lovely reminder. We have our butterfly. We have welcome spring. We have our 2 flowers. And okay, that's it. Those are the ones we need. And we'll be using our Memento Tuxedo Black ink exclusively. Now, 4x6 window sheet. Definitely going to need that. So you're going to stamp first your bunny, and you want to make sure that you leave room for this flower and then these 2 flowers. So let's get this piece out here, and I have a piece of scratch paper that has some sticky on it that I'll be using later. So I'm going to stamp my bunny first. So that's the main image, and I want to make sure I get it placed in the right place. So I'll get my Memento Tuxedo Black ink, ink up my bunny, and I'll see where that's going to stamp. Then I'm going to attach this to that sticky part and slide it underneath right here. So just make sure you leave room for your flower. So there's that flower and your butterfly. And then you want to leave room for welcome spring. Okay, that looks good. And when you're happy with it, it's about a little more than 1/8 of an inch from the bottom. You can move those, put this down, and then you're going to ink up your stamp, your bunny, and stamp your bunny. Next, we'll clean off our bunny. Make sure you get it all off. You don't want to have ink on your hands either. So I'm going to remove this now temporarily. So we'll put this down. Now we're going to stamp flowers. I'm going to stamp my tulip first. Let me clean that off. Definitely want to clean off my bunny. Now I've got my tulip stamp. Ink that up, stamp that. I know that I want my tulip right next to my bunny. You can see. So he's right next to my bunny. And ink it up and stamp. Now before we remove our well, actually, yeah, we will. We're going to do it a different way. So go ahead and clean off your plastic and your stamp. Put your plastic back in place. Now we're going to stamp the other little, like, I'm not even sure if that's a daisy not really a daisy looking, I'm not even sure what flower that is. But whatever it is, we're going to stamp it, the other flower. And we want to make sure that we want to leave room for our butterfly. So that's good. So we'll stamp our flower there. And here we'll replace our plastic. I'm going to move this over and stamp another flower on this side of the tulip. So here we go. So we'll clean that off. Now we're going to stamp our butterfly. So clean off our plastic again. It's a lot of work, isn't it? But it's worth it. Dry that off. I'm going to put our butterfly here. Make sure it's stamping so it'll stamp up. And ink. Now I'm going to slide that under there, and I want it to be sitting on this flower right here. I think with this one I had it up higher though. Kind of like that, yeah. It's sitting up on it. Alright, so remove this. Ink up that. Stamp. Okay, there's my butterfly. So that's our front. Now we're going to do the inside. We'll clean this off. And now we're going to do Easter. Easter is a lovely reminder of new beginnings. Clean off my butterfly. Now we're going to bring in our sentiment, inside sentiment, and remember it is a landscape. So I'm going to put that in the center, and we're going to put our okay, there's our sentiment. Clean that off. Find our butterfly. Oh, we want to clean off our plastic too. Find our butterfly. Make sure it's flying up. Ink that up. And we just want to line that up with kind of in between the Easter and the A and the F of Easter. Okay, and clean off our plastic. And our stamp. Next is going to be flowers down along the bottom. We have alternating flowers. So this time we're going to put our plastic at the bottom. So pick a line for your plastic. I'm going to pick this 1, 2, 3. I'll put it up against the edge and along that line. Okay, and then I'm going to get the flower that's a little bit of a round flower. And I'm going to put it at the top of my plastic this time so that I can slide, whoops, I can slide down. Okay, so there's that. Now I can bring this in. Here I want it about right there. Is that about where I want it? It looks like it's about 3/4 of an inch from the edge, this edge here, and about 1/2 inch from the bottom, or 3/8 of an inch from the bottom. Okay, and I see I've got some ink on my thing. Oh well, that happens. And there we go. Now I'm going to, again, I guess I didn't really need to move this. Well, I did to stamp, didn't I? So I'm find that third line, and I'm going to make sure I leave room for the flower there. And when it looks about right, I'm going to stamp it. There we go. Put this back in place on that third line against the side and move this over to about right there. So I want to have room for 3 flowers, 3 of my tulips. So that looks good. Okay, now I'm going to clean up this flower and this stamp. Put my plastic back in place here in that third line on my grid paper. This time I'm going to stamp my tulip over here in the corner. And there's that. I can slide this underneath, line it up, as long as I make sure that's in place. I can line that up to stamp right there. Put this back in place. Move this over. And I think I'm just going to do those 2 flowers. I don't think I'm going to do a third tulip. That way it will look even. Alright, so this one I fit 6 in, but this one I didn't. So I'm going to go for symmetry rather than quantity. So I'll clean off my plastic and my stamp. Okay, we're going to do the welcome spring. So we'll get our plastic out. And the welcome spring stamp. Make sure it says welcome on this side. And ink up our stamp. Yeah, this is an important part here, this front sentiment. Don't want to forget that. So I'm going to stick this to this again, slide it underneath. Okay, so now I'm going to stamp it. Welcome spring. Let's do that welcome again. All right, so it's ready. Now we're finished. You can clean up everything. Clean our plastic off. Just make sure you have all the ink off of your hands. Now for the flowers, we want light and dark Highland Heather. Here's my light and dark Highland Heather. It looks like the tulips are light Highland Heather. And this flower here on the far left is light, and the one in the center is light Highland Heather. Alrighty. Then dark Highland Heather, the other flowers. And let's see, I forgot about the inside. Butterfly is light Highland Heather. And then dark Highland Heather for the body and the little circles. Dark Old Olive bullet tip. You're just going to kind of go over these, or right beside these veins in the leaves. I'll hold it up so you can see what I did. Then I'm going to come with the brush tip of the light Old Olive and color where I didn't color with the dark, and just kind of blend it in just a little bit, not a lot. I do want that contrast. And then up at the top, light Old Olive for the leaves up here. And it looks like I need to do my dark Highland Heather in these flowers here. Now I didn't do the bunny yet, so if you want to do this, you're going to do your just a little bit, and I'm just going to do like little dots, because I find that with this image is so small that if I do lines, it's too much. Okay, so I'm going to come in with with this, if you want to go ahead and just skip this part, your butterfly is Light Daffodil Delight. And then if you have Dark Daffodil Delight, you can do the body of the butterfly. And if you want to do Light Daffodil Delight on the center of the flowers, if you missed any of the centers, I think I colored most of mine. So now I'm going to get my color lifter again and my bullet point, and I'm going to just rub like I'm erasing that, kind of in circles. Just adding some shadow. You do want to avoid the black ink too, just so you know. Okay, there's my bunny. So I think we are done, right? Okay, so let's move on to putting our card together. And we'll bring in all of our goodies. So we'll start with, this is going to go on our gray. So in each corner and then around like that. So it's just a tiny little bit of a 1/16 of an inch. Then it's going to go on our, and we want a little more at the top than at the side here. So I'm just going to put a little here. I don't want to get too close to the edges, so remember, a little more than 1/8 of an inch here and about 1/4 an inch from the top. Mostly just get it level. That's the most important thing. Okay, then our DSP is going to go on top of our card base like that. And I might just use glue since it's not going on cardstock. I want to make sure that it stays down nice and flat, and glue will make sure that it does. So just make sure that your stems are going up, and there's 1/8 of an inch all around. Or thereabouts. This is going to go here. It's about 1/2 an inch. Yeah, from the blue, from the edge of the DSP. I will put that on with some glue too. Doesn't have to be any particular, I mean, about 1/2 an inch from the blue. A little more, a little less. This is going to go on the front with regular size dimensionals, but we'll go ahead and put this on at the inside. This is going to go on our Highland Heather. And it looks like it's 1/8 of an inch. This is going to go on the inside. Awesome. Now we're going to put this on with some dimensionals, the larger ones. Put them in the corners. And then make sure that it's supported in the center. And I'll get my handy dandy Okay, so I apologize, my battery died on my camera. So we got as far as taking the backing off of the dimensionals, and I went ahead and put this on the front, which I think you can do probably with no problem. Then the next thing we need to do is put on the little rhinestones. We have to color them first, so we need 3 of the smallest rhinestone basic jewels. We're going to get our dark Highland Heather, use our bullet point, and we're just going to go around and around like this, and then over the top. And this dries really fast and the color stays really nice. I always usually like to go over it twice to get a nice rich color. Alright, that's our coloring, and then we're going to take your pick tool, the pointy end, and pick that up. Put one inside that flower. Oops, come on. It shouldn't be that hard. And one inside this flower, and then one. Static electricity is making that stick to my finger, that plastic. And then we're going to put one right here in the center of that flower on the top of the bunny. Okay, so now we're done. My camera almost made it to the end. All right, well, thanks for watching, and thanks for joining me, and we will see you in project number 4, because this was 3, so project number 4. Thanks for watching. Bye now.